Hey people, this is a compilation of some Unreal Engine tips that I have uploaded as YouTube Shorts. Since some people don't watch shorts on YouTube, I thought uploading them as a compilation might still be useful, because some of those tips are really great. With that, enjoy! Does your Unreal Engine project have too many folders and you need minutes, hours or even days to find certain things? Those days are over. Press right click on a folder and select Set Color. Then select a color to make the folder stand out from the rest. Still not enough? If you use a folder every time you open the project, you can also mark it as a favorite and then you can easily find it under the Favorites section. Doesn't it feel good to play God and place the sun in Unreal Engine? No, it doesn't if you rotate it with those rotation gizmos. Let me tell you how to really appreciate the power of placing the sun. Just place a directional light which gets used as the sun into your scene and then press Ctrl+L and move your mouse to adjust the sun angle. You never want to go back after you have tried this method of adjusting your sunlight in Unreal Engine. Have you ever created a private variable in C++ for Unreal Engine and wanted to expose it in Blueprint? Then you probably know that the compiler isn't a fan of this idea. But there is a way. Just add the meta specifier to your U property, allow private access and set it to true. Then you and the compiler are happy again and you can access your properties in Blueprint. Did you ever activated your full screen with F11 in the editor of Unreal Engine and thought, this is not a full screen? Because the Windows taskbar was still smiling at you? I got you covered. Because there's a simple shortcut to unleash the full potential of your full screen. Just press Shift plus F11 and be mesmerized by the real full screen experience while working in the Unreal Engine editor. Did you ever wonder at how many FPS your Unreal Engine game runs? No? Doesn't matter, I will tell you if you want it or not. Just go to the burger menu in the top left corner of the screen and tick the box Show FPS. And then you can see the frames per second of your game. And maybe you can identify frame drops with it. Did you ever encounter the problem inside Unreal Engine that you were scaling the root component of your actor and then started crying because you wanted to keep the scale of the child components? But there doesn't seem to be a solution for it. That is wrong, because there is one. Select the child component that causes your heart pain and click on the little drop down for the scale and select World instead of Relative. Then you will see that this component keeps its absolute scale even though the parent component gets changed. Do you sometimes look at your frame rate in Unreal Engine and think, well, this is kind of low? If your scene has a lot of visual effects, they could be a cause for the poor performance. To check the quality of your visual effects in regard of performance, you can activate the Shader Complexity View Mode. For that, go to the View Mode option in the top left of the screen, select Optimization View Modes and then Shader Complexity. Then you can identify problematic VFX. For example, if your VFX has a lot of white areas, then this indicates that the effect is performance intensive. And of course, if you then reuse the effect across the scene, the performance impact gets increased. Have you ever looked at your blueprint graphs in Unreal Engine and started to drown in your sweat because it looked too unstructured? Maybe comments can help you out. Select a part of your blueprint graph and press C to create a comment box. Next, you can give it a text to explain the functionality and you can even change the color. Simply breathtaking. Were you ever working on the movement of your AI characters in Unreal Engine and were thinking, it would be nice if I could preview the navigation mesh? No worries, Unreal Engine got you covered. If you have a recast nav mesh in your scene, just press P and then the green areas will show you navigatable areas for your AI. Sometimes life is a dream. Have you ever logged a debug message to your output log in Unreal Engine and were like, I can't read this? No worries, I got you covered. Just go to your editor preferences and search for font size. And then you will be able to change the font size for your output log. Click Restart now and celebrate reading again. Did you lose hours of work in Blueprints for Unreal Engine because you forgot to save them and then your editor crashed? Well, I can't help you with that. However, I can tell you a little trick on how to prevent those things in the future. Just go to any blueprint and press the 3 dots beside the compile button. Then select Save on Compile and set it to On Success Only. With that option enabled, every time you successfully compile a blueprint, it will also get saved, making it less likely for you to lose hours of work. Are you creating your game in Unreal Engine and while testing the game you started to bump into invisible things and were like, why? A source of this problem can be that there's an object with collision that is invisible. To debug this, you can display collisions in your scene. Just press Alt+C and then collisions in your scene get displayed. And then you might find an object which is invisible but still has the collision activated. Have you ever encountered the problem in Unreal Engine that you were trying to place an object on a surface and you used the translation gizmos to somewhat place the object right? Well, let me invite you to the future. Just activate surface snapping for your scene, and if you now move your object with clicking and dragging the sphere of the translation gizmos, then you will see that your object snaps perfectly to any surface. However, make sure that your origin is located at the bottom of your object or that you have added the correct surface offset, since surface snapping snaps the origin of your object to the surface. Did you know that debugging in Blueprints is a thing inside Unreal Engine? Normally what you can do in programming is setting a breakpoint in certain code lines. Those breakpoints make the execution stop and you can investigate the current state of the game at those breakpoints. And you can do the same in Blueprints. Just select the node inside your blueprint graph and press F9 to toggle a breakpoint. With the breakpoint activated, the execution of your graph will stop at this node, allowing you to investigate the current state of the game and the control flow of your graph step by step. Have you ever made your mouse wheel heat up just to focus on an object in the Unreal Engine editor? Let me give you a tip. Simply select an element in the scene and just press F. Then your object is in focus and you can finally focus on the important things. Did you know that you can cap your frame rate in Unreal Engine? Well, now you know. Just go to your project settings, search for fixed frame rate, activate the checkbox for use fixed frame rate, and then you can provide any value for the frame rate that you desire. Amazing. Did you know that you can simply switch out actors in your Unreal Engine scene? First, select an object in your content browser that you want to place into your scene. Next, select the object in your scene that you want to replace and press right click on it. Then select Replace Selected Actors With, and lastly, you can select the object you want to place in the scene. Did you know that you can group scene elements together in Unreal Engine? Just select the elements in your scene and press Ctrl+G. Now the objects are grouped and you can easily move them together. If you want to move individual objects of a group, select the group, press right click and select Groups. Then click on Unlock, which enables you to move individual objects from the group. Did you know that you can easily test the multiplayer of your game when working inside Unreal Engine? And you only need to do 2 steps. First, go to the 3 dots beside the play button. Increase the number of players to 2 and change the net mode to play as listen server. Press play now and you will see that multiple instances of your game start, and hopefully you can see that actions are replicated across those instances. Do you always create a get node and then a valid check afterwards to check if a variable holds a valid reference? Then let me tell you that you can combine both steps into one. Just create a get node, perform a right click on it, and select Convert to Valid Get. And voila, you have a node that gets the value but also performs a check for validity. That was it for now. I hope there was at least one useful tip for you, and that you could bear with the editing style. Consider subscribing for more Unreal Engine tips and tricks, and with that, see you next time.